better off with her. But go ahead.
Name, age, and relationship to interviewer.
I'm Casey's dad. I'm 57, and my name is Chuck Fox.
What do you remember about November 22nd, 1963, when John F. Kennedy was assassinated?
Quite a bit. I remember that people were very upset. I remember that my friends and I, who were very young, were very confused as to why somebody would shoot the president. And I think being in second grade with my buddies, we didn't quite understand it.
Many people have said hope in America died a little that day. Do you agree? And if so, how did hope change in America change a little that day?
Yeah, I think you have to understand that it being second graders, we were upset with it, and that we believed there was some hope that was lost.
Do you know or remember, what do you know or remember about the Vietnam War?
A lot of protests.
Many people have said Americans lost trust in the federal government by the end of the war. Do you agree? And if so, how has this trust ever been won back by the federal government?
Yes, a lot of trust was lost. We had older friends who were going to graduate from high school, and they were very upset that they were being drafted in the war, and yet they couldn't drink. And at that time, they believed that the drinking age should be 18. I remember that very well, because they thought if they could die for their country, they should be able to drink beer and wine and whiskey.
Okay.
What did I say? You better stop that.
No. What do you know or remember about July 20th, 1969, when the U.S. was able to land the first men on the moon?
Everybody was watching TV. All my friends, everybody.
Many people have said the world's perception of the U.S. changed that day. Do you agree? And if so, how did the world perceive the U.S. after this event?
Everybody thought the U.S. was the best, including Americans, and everybody I knew, even relatives from Canada.
What do you know about or remember about August 8th, 1974, following the Watergate scandal?
I remember my uncle, who was a history teacher in Santa Rosa, developed a game called Water Quake, similar to Monopoly, and I sold that game at the fair, at the Sonoma County Fair in Santa Rosa.
What?
Uncle Kenny did.
Okay.
And he got in the LA Times for the game, and it was pretty cool.
What does that have to do with the Watergate scandal?
His game was Water Quake, and he despised Richard Nixon. My uncle was a very liberal individual, and he graduated from UCLA with a master's degree, and he just had a liberal streak in him, and he did not like Richard Nixon.
Once again, many people said that the American public lost trust in the federal government again. Which topic, Watergate or Vietnam, do you feel hurt the trust Americans felt towards the federal government more, and why?
Watergate, because it was a political nightmare, and everybody was ticked off at the president.
What do you know or remember about November 9th, 1989, when the Berlin Wall came down effectively during the Cold War?
Ronald Reagan.
And that's it?
Yeah, making a statement about, actually it was after that. What was the date?
1989.
Yeah, Reagan was out. I don't remember much about that, except that people were standing on the wall throwing down bricks, and they were filming it, and we were watching it on TV.
Many people have said life in America changed that day. Do you agree? And if so, how did life change the day the Berlin Wall came down, ending the Cold War?
I disagree. I mean, the other events were Watergate, the Vietnam War, Kennedy's death were all more volatile for Americans than the Berlin Wall, although there was some element of people who thought it was important.
What do you know or remember about September 11th, 2001, when the country experienced the worst terrorist attacks in U.S. history? How has America changed in the past decade by this horrific event?
I remember it very well. I remember our neighbor telling me about it. I remember I had to go to a meeting of police agencies in Ventura, Santa Barbara, and San Luis Obispo County, and we were all discussing it. I remember that all of our training for the sheriff's office in San Luis Obispo changed because of that event, and I was directly involved in the training for dealing with terrorist events in the United States and in the county of San Luis Obispo.
Finally, it is said that every America has a dream, be it wealth, happiness, a better life for their children. What was your dream, and do you think you achieved it?
Yes, I do believe I achieved my dream. Because I've got a great daughter named Casey.